students, we meet again. Okay, alright, now today we're going to discuss SPM Trial paper 2021, which is from Johor. Okay, right, paper 1. So I think we have already done 3 states, which is the first one is from Terengganu, SPP, and this time around we are doing previously we also did Sarawak, and this is the 4th state, which is Johor. Right? Okay, now let's continue. I think you'll be seeing quite the same type of questions going to be posed. Alright, it's just that like what I mentioned, when it comes to sharing session, it will be easier for you to see how to talk about edit, because sometimes there might be some new viewers, okay? And there are also like students that tend to forget, what happened in the second set, the first set, the second set, and the third set, right? Okay, now let's continue. Okay, now if you look at paper 1, I have already mentioned this many times. Paper 1 gives you 40 questions, obviously 40 questions that consists of 5 parts, part 1, part 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you can see that these different 5 parts would have like different amount of the increase of the difference of these different parts would be the increasing of number of words which is being used. The first part will be testing students by giving them only 3 multiple choice questions, then it will increase to 4 multiple choice questions, but with a different level of difficulties, right? Okay, and for paper 1, students are given 1 hour and 40 minutes, 1 hour and 30 minutes for them to answer 40 questions. Meaning that students have around like 1 minute plus to answer 1 question, so you don't have room for you to sleep. Because every second, every minute that you spend on this particular paper is equally important, right? Okay, now let's look at the first question, first part. So first part will give students will give students 8 questions for them to answer, and you can see that for the first part is actually quite easy because you are only given 3 multiple choice questions referring to the text, and it's a very direct to the point question. Okay, right. So my advice for students all the time is for you to read the text first, then refer back to the question, and no worries, because usually the answers will be there. It's already there in the text. It's already there in the text. All right, now if you look at a question here, from this diary entry, you know that, meaning that if you don't read the text and try to answer the question, you are not going to get the answer. Definitely, you are not going to get the answer. So let's look at what is the content of the diary. So it has been 3 days since I texted Lina about the incident, and I have not received any reply from her. I know she must have been heartbroken after all the things I have said to her that day. Why did I need to tell her how I felt? I wish I could turn back time. I really missed her. Meaning that this particular person, this particular writer, is having a friendship problem with probably a good friend, because here mentioned about heartbroken. You're talking about, I wish I could turn back time. There's a regretfulness in the statement given, and then suddenly you have the last line that I really missed her. So meaning that there must be an argument happened to these 2 people. Okay, we know that the writer had feelings towards Lina. Definitely not. It is not saying that the writer is in love with her. Okay, the writer didn't wait for her friend's reply. Definitely not as well. Because why? I have not received any reply from her, meaning that she must have been waiting for 3 days now. 3 days here. The writer felt guilty for offending her friend. See, where can I find the answer for this here? I know she must have been heartbroken after all the things I have said to her that day. Why did I need to tell her now? Why did I need to tell her now? I wish I could turn back time. Here is the element of regretfulness. How I wish I could turn back time. Hopefully that you did not have, it should not have happened if you could take back the time. If this were to be predicted, if you teacher was with her. Definitely the answer is C. See, like I said, it is that clear cut. No going here and there. All right, second question. Here you're talking about ingredients because you want to make lime mustard sauce. So read the ingredients one by one. Yeah, here's an easy recipe for delicious lime mustard. Combine 1/4 cup of plain yogurt, 3 tablespoons of sour cream, and 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard in a bowl. Stir in minced flour, clove of garlic, and half grated lime peel. Mix well. Right? Here is already mentioned to you the ingredients. You got plain yogurt, sour cream, Dijon mustard, garlic, and grated lime peel. So which ingredient in this recipe comes from fermented milk? Everyone must know what is fermented milk. Fermented milk is what a milk that is being fermented for quite some time, so the taste doesn't taste like the natural milk, but it tastes a little bit different. Okay. What is it fermented? If you like to eat tapai, tapai is made from rice. So if you were to before the tapai is being fermented, it tastes differently. But after it's being fermented, it tastes differently. It's the same. The process same goes with this text fermented milk. So why is it? Yogurt, right? Isn't it? The taste is a little bit different. Even the texture is a little bit different when it's being fermented. The thickness of the liquid is a little bit heavier compared to the normal liquid, right? Okay, that's the answer is A. Okay, same goes with number 3. If you see that most of the questions in paper 1 that I have been using, that I have been discussing, we can see there is not many question in part 1 that uses a lot of pictures. They use a lot of text because they want the students to read. Because students are actually, we find that students have this difficulty of reading and they are quite lazy to read. So that is the reason why some exam papers being set up, they write more compared to using pictures. Okay, right? So they give you a health tip and so forth. Now, what is the aim of the poster? The aim of the poster usually can be seen. It can be here. It can be usually when you talk about the aim should be at the earlier part of sentence structure, earlier part of the text. Alright. Then they give you again a newspaper excerpt. I think in Sarawak paper, the paper 1, you can find excerpt around like 2 excerpts being used. Okay. This is something of probably this is a journal, I'm not sure, but this one is something about a person talking about how he is making comparison about failures, about success, how to become success, and so forth. Question 6, this is also an extract. Probably this is a journal studying about brain power. Okay, about intelligence. Okay. Right. And question number 8. This is actually from out of the 8 questions being asked. This is the only question that requires students to give to identify the true statement from the advertisement. Right. Okay. So if it's asking for true statement, you can see that the choices are a little bit longer here. When we compare to the text given, you can see the text being used so it's a little bit longer compared to the others. Alright? Okay. Okay, part B. Part 2 is on gap text. Gap text. And you can see that the level of difficulty has been increased. Students at this point of part 2, they are being tested on their vocabulary and their grammar. Okay. Alright, so number 0 has already been answered. Here you're using present continuous tense, you're doing past tense, because here you can see they are using were, was, are, and am. You're going to be related to past tense, present tense. Alright, for question number 9, they are using conjunction because you are trying to relate the first sentence with the second continuous sentence here. It was first published in Athens in 1896. Now take place every 4 years. What happened? You want to relate from this to this, and now takes place every 4 years. Yes, we see. Okay. All right. Number 10. Number 10. This is also a grammar. You are talking about personal pronouns. You are referring to other people. It, we, our, and they. Okay, then we go into number 11. This is a preposition to show position of what? Look at question number 11. There are major sporting events in which thousands of athletes take part all over the world. So when you refer to people from other countries, you put it as from, not between. Because this is where there is a collective noun here. We are using the number of people, right? Number 12, this is also grammar, quite, only, almost, most. So you can see that there is a difference of states. The states are using different attempt of how they go about with get back. So some of the states are using a lot of questions that test students on their grammar. Some are testing students more on their vocabulary. Some are having a mixture of both equally number. Right? Okay, next, number 13. Here, this is actually present continuous tense, is celebrated, past continuous, is celebrating, present continuous, are celebrated, past tense, and then are celebrating. Okay. Number 14. You know, 14 is testing the students on their grammar. You can see that out of the 8 questions being given here, only 1 question for number 14 requires students on their grammar. Knowledge. Okay, number 15 here, conjunction in, or, for, in, with, and the last one would be number 16. It's, it, those, and it. This is you are doing pronouns. You are referring to other people, right? Okay, sorry, and number, and have to. So here, testing students on grammar, from, in, over, throughout, conjunction, and then and the. This is testing students on the articles. So out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Out of the 10 questions, out of the 10 gapped questions given, only 1 question is testing student on their vocabulary. See, there is that's how we actually do practice with the students in school. So if possible, that's why I said try to get as many other states question, or you can ask from your friends from other schools to exchange question papers so that you can have more exercises to be done, especially in the gap text in part 2. Okay. All right. For part 3, comprehension. We have 7 to 8 questions here. All right. How many paragraphs do you see? Okay, you've got 1 paragraph, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 paragraphs altogether. Right. So 9 paragraphs. So be careful. Make sure to read accordingly from top to bottom, so that when you answer the question later, it's easier. Be careful with highlighted phrases or highlighted sentences which are being bold and italicized. So that you know that probably any one of these will be taken as part of the question. Okay? Alright. So I think for the past 3 states that we have done, there's one state that I think the early that I did, you know, we asked students accordingly from paragraph to paragraph. some stage, they don't ask paragraph 1, they go into paragraph 2, paragraph 3, paragraph 5, so they jump paragraphs. So we have to be very careful. So here, so they mentioned paragraph 1. What is it? When it mentioned paragraph 1, therefore your eyes has to be set on paragraph 1 only. Paragraph 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, so it follows. When you go into right, when you go into question 25 and 26, 25, see, we took the statement from paragraph 1. From this paragraph, she still wasn't taking any chances though. So this is what I meant by being bold, italize, and italate. So when you go into this question, which is related to this, and the last question to ask us to identify the purpose of the writers writing the story. So where do we look for this answer? You have to read from top to bottom. Sometimes the answer could be in the last paragraph. Sometimes. These are times it can be in the first paragraph. Okay? Or sometimes it can be as our whole understanding of the paragraph. The whole understanding. So you have to read now. You have to read. And if it's like, this is what I call as a narrative text. A narrative text is something like a story. When it is a story, you have to really read between the lines because sometimes they would use some bombastic words. They would use very high-end words. And, if you were to read from the first paragraph, you will see that this is actually something that is related to her memories of what she did throughout. Okay? Alright. Now let's look at part 4. Okay, part 4, I think the reason why they use the internet and COVID-19 is because it was in 2021 where we are still in the pandemic era. Internet and COVID-19 it goes hand in hand. Because when you have COVID-19, the internet becomes very well used by everyone. So basically everyone is actually well versed with ICT. Okay. So here they will give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 paragraphs. 7 paragraphs, but 6 empty spaces for you to fill in with 8 choices of answer. So which and which will go hand in hand with the previous paragraph. Right, for example, like this, COVID-19 pandemic has entirely changed many aspects of our lives. Workplaces, educational institutions, and entertainment facilities are completely shut. So this is the situation at that time. So what happened in this critical period of time? Internet has become a necessity. So this is where internet is being well recognized. So let's look at the answer. These applications have greatly, does it mention about application? No, it hasn't yet. Okay, we can communicate with anyone through text messages instantly. The first paragraph not even mentioned about internet yet. It is only mentioned because of COVID-19. Internet is being widely used. Students are able to search for any education. This is also not yet because it was not even mentioned yet about any students. What else? Some are virtual learning platforms. In the first paragraph mentioned about virtual learning? No. Platforms only being mentioned in the second paragraph. See? At present time, people are able to meet their family and friends due to travel restriction. Does it travel? Mentioned here? No. Not yet. Okay, many online learning sessions are based on lectures. People are forced to stay at home to curb the spread of virus. These platforms allow people to watch latest shows and movies. Therefore, I think the answer, which is suitable for number 27, would be G. Yeah, because you're talking about workplaces, education institutions, and entertainment facilities are completely shut. And because of that, people are forced to stay at home. So G is a suitable answer. And students have to only put the letter G in the blank. Alright, this is is how you actually do for part 4. Okay. Okay, students. All right, let's go to the last part. So the last part is information transfer. Right, information transfer. The only part that we can see a lot of diagrams, a lot of pictures would be in the last part, which is part 4. Because sometimes they have to use some figures, they have to use some pictures in order for students to understand what is the text all about, unless they use the names of people. Alright, here because you're talking about exotic foods. So some students, they don't know what is exotic food and they have to see on their own what is exotic foods about. So exotic foods are actually bananas, mangoes, kiwis. Now I know. Durians, yes, definitely. Coconut, and this is what? The noni fruit. The noni fruit. Okay. So how many paragraphs are there? 6 paragraphs altogether. So from the 6 paragraphs, the first 4 questions, we have to put the number of paragraphs, not the number, and the letter of the paragraph. So you look back at the question. If they already initialize it with alphabets, then you use alphabets A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, don't put paragraph 1, 2, 3, which is wrong. Right. Now, when it comes into the last 4 questions, it depends on the rubric given in the question. So if in the rubric, in the instruction, it mentions only use one word, so students have to use one word. But if there is no instruction saying that, capitalizing everything, students only have to use one word to answer question 37 to 40. Therefore, you can answer the question as it is. There is no restriction of number. So you have to be very careful. You have to be very alert with the instruction given in the question. So please make sure to read over and over again so that you don't make any silly mistakes. Because once you do silly mistakes, you cannot bring it back again later in the future. Alright, okay. So I think that's all for today. Okay, I think we have discussed a lot, and you can see that there are actually similarities from one state to another. How they go about the type of question that is being used. You could see that there is not much of a difference, especially in paper 1. But you only could see some differences. Could be some states are using a lot of pictures in part 1, for example. And you'll see more pictures coming in part 5, in the information transfer part. Okay, so I hope that the sharing session for today is well shared. And if there is any question, probably we could have some question being posed later if you want to. Okay, but at the moment, I think after doing some of the questions with you guys, I didn't have some picture, some use what actually how SPM paper is all about. Okay, so thank you so much. All right, see you. Goodbye. Thank you.